All right, folks. Well, welcome to yet another edition of Stupid Gaming News, or more Stupid Gaming News, as it were.
My
As is,
favorite of all news.
as is typical, we're going to be starting with Nintendo, because they've been
Oh,
stirring up the most stupid news recently. A big shout out to Fratanga for bringing up a whole lot of this stupid shit and not being polite about it, because the Nintendrones, as he so eloquently calls them, do nothing but shill for the company regardless of what may be going on here.
can I offer a alternative term? The uncritical fan. It's
Eh,
actually what we would call them in marketing,
too
by the way.
generalized. These guys are so specific. I think Nintendrone works pretty
Well,
well.
no, it works in multiple avenues, but not to distract.
Yeah,
Continue.
so number one, we're going to, and I know everybody's talked about it already, but we haven't addressed it, so we're going to talk about, well, the bricking issue. Now, for those of you who've watched other channels, and a lot of you will have done that by now, the bricking issue is where Nintendo decides you've done a thing and they think it's bad. The most
You're a naughty
recent
boy.
the most recent and routine issue is using this little SD card thing called a MIG switch, which can be used for piracy, but for the most part has not yet been used for Switch 2 piracy. No, what it's been being used for is for people wanting to see how things in the system work, and more importantly, trying to back up copies of their digital games, because Nintendo has become obsessed with everything third party going digital. So
Which is
in
not
that
a good idea.
capacity, the MIG switch is not only basically harmless, it's also in no way fucking illegal, because what these people are doing is backing up games they've actually purchased, which by most legal accounts is not actually fucking illegal because you bought those games.
Oh man, is Nintendo gonna retroactively go after me for my old power save that they've
I'm
sold to
pretty
me?
sure if they could find a way to get away with it, they would fucking come after people for buying secondhand NES carts at this
Could
point.
I also get them for selling or allowing to be sold defective memory or carts with
Mm.
defective memory? I know what they did, and I know
Oh
what it
yeah.
was.
Well, before we get on too much of a tangent on the older occurrences, this has
Your
become an
business
issue
practices.
because they've been doing this quite a bit more recently. At first, there was only one or two people, and a lot of the fans were like, "Oh, it's just fake news. It didn't actually happen." And then people started going on social media and showing actual receipts, i.e., showing the error code and showing and explaining exactly what they did that got them the error code. But the insidiousness of this silly shit is just beyond the norm in terms of what they're getting away with. Because this isn't just doing, as most people like brick the system, like in the old days when you put in the wrong Metroid code in your, I believe it was your 3DS, and it would just kill it. Like it would actually brick it. No, because then you just know the damn thing's broke. You fucked up. But what they're doing here is they're killing all account wide internet access of any kind. Now, because of the way a lot of the games on the Switch 2 fucking work, this means that if you buy any of these third-party games that require you to put in the stupid code on the online store to download it, well, you just bought a game you can't play because you can't fucking install it because you have
Lovely.
no internet access. So maybe your first-party Nintendo games will still work, but you ain't doing shit else with that console. And it is so rooted in the coding of this thing that it can't be fixed. They had a guy show himself literally restoring the thing to base factory settings, and his account was still completely fucked.
Well, is it his account or is it the system regardless of account being installed in it?
Well, it's his whole account, number one, because he had to get it restored separately because they blocked his Switch 1 account too. But the issue is, even if you restore that, it still refuses any access, even after factory reset and starting a new profile on the console. It still will not access
So
anything.
they're putting individual locks on them.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yes,
That
they are.
seems like a Well, a very questionable business practice
You
is
don't say.
one I could say, and one I would be interested in seeing them face. Actually, in a legal setting, I would love to see how they manage that.
Hmm.
I don't think
But
that would go very well.
this leads us to our secondary issue, which may end up becoming a primary issue very quickly, in that, as we know from the days when people would go on eBay or Amazon and they'd put up some
Buyer
shady,
beware.
yeah, the buyer beware. You'd have somebody put up some shady shit. They knew they fucked it up, but they were going to sell it like nothing was wrong with it. Well, congratulations, Nintendo, because your stupid shit just enabled a whole different brand of this bullshit. Because there's been some incidents where people have gone to stores who take returns, and so stuff that gets returned eventually gets sold on a discount. Well, you have people who are fucking around getting their Switch bricked and then taking it back as defective merchandise to the actual retailers. Places like, Walmart and Target and whatnot. And of course, the issue here becomes these guys are not, they're not console people, they're not game store employees. They work in a retail store and they're like, oh, well, I have to deal with the return policy. If they have this, well, then there we go. So you have, as Fertanga put it, some 50-year-old old man at Walmart is not going to have the tech savviness to know what to check on a Switch 2. He's going to take it out of the box, check it over visually, hit the power button, see that it turns on, and be like, oh, well, there's nothing really seeming to be wrong with this. We could probably just resell it.
Well,
So,
there's another question that comes in.
mm-hmm.
Uh, Potentially, is it even in a lot of their contracts to refuse if the company is doing something so odious as this? So is it even putting those companies in a position if they take returns to refuse them because it's still a functioning product? So
And
it
see,
means
on
that a
that,
lot
I
of them would have to
realistically,
change
yeah.
their but that also could cause some trouble with Nintendo's relationships with business
Yeah.
partners.
Well, and I honestly feel like, and Fertanga kind of hinted at this, it almost feels like they don't mind this because now it's just putting more pressure and mistrust on the secondhand purchase market so that people who are still going to be dumb enough to buy this thing are be like, oh, well, I don't want to buy a bricked secondhand system. I better just buy a new one from Nintendo.
You know, in a roundabout way, I think it's a good thing if Nintendo is deliberately allowing this and actively promoting it to happen by just simply not involving themselves in
Mm-hmm.
fixing the problem. And I think it's good because it affects second and third party sales. And that means that it's going to affect a lot more of family purchases because a
Mm-hmm.
lot of families, especially a budget, will buy on the second and third market. That means that Nintendo is going to have a shrinking audience of future nostalgia
Well,
addicts.
and let's not forget the other pink ass elephant in the room, in that because of their decision to push this idea of the game key card digital only thing, that a lot of companies who were dealing with Nintendo third party are regretting their decision because third party sales on Nintendo games, because of the game key card news, are insanely bad.
I would at
Almost
this
nobody
point,
is buying third party titles, and so the other companies are seeing record low sales on the Switch.
which I don't think Nintendo cares about, honestly. They're sold predominantly on their first party only, and honestly, I think what happen is you'll have a situation where Nintendo will double down like they always do. And
Probably.
what ultimately happens in this is that companies are probably going to start going, "You want it on Nintendo products? Well, you're going to pay for the full amount right off the bat, Nintendo, because there's no reason to put it on your console."
Not even close. Not even a little. And a lot of them have already expressed surprise and irritation at how terrible the sales of their fucking games have been because Nintendo's decisions. They thought they were going to come in and cash in on this all digital bullshit Nintendo was pushing, but nobody's interested in it. So now you have the third party companies looking at Nintendo because they're not getting any fucking sales.
Nintendo has never been good for third parties since the Super Nintendo.
Nope.
They have been a walled garden, and anyone stupid enough in publishing to get in bed with them deserves the failure they get.
Well, like a few different people have said at this point, it's going to go back to the N64 days where nobody develops third-party fucking software for this thing.
You get a bunch of trashware and games that no one actually likes, and then you have a bunch of Nintendo properties, and that's like it. Which is pretty much par for the course with Nintendo, and why I think it's hilarious these companies thought they were going to see a big profit. There's not a giant audience for third party on Nintendo. These people are there for Nintendo products.
Mm-hmm.
It's a walled garden akin to Apple, and they're going to eventually run into the same issues that Apple has, especially outside the country when consumer
Yeah.
protections laws start coming in and going, hey, you can't do all this shit. And you're going to be dealing with, on top of that, a fact that a lot of people who are more familiar with these the tech and the things that are going on are going to start coming into, well, political control and institutional control, and Nintendo's not going to be able to just pull this BS forever.
Well, and the tech issue has already started coming up. I won't go into too much detail on this, but we had an issue recently where a channel well known for technical stuff, who's normally pro Nintendo, was bringing up the fact that the screen resolution on the Switch 2 is so bad that a lot of 2D games or games like Sonic that require, a different kind of frame rate than some of these 3D titles, on the Switch 2, the resolution is so bad that it blurs a lot and it's very noticeable.
Well,
and of course, we've had the Nintendo fanboys coming after them and claim they don't know what they're talking about, despite the fact they actually are tech analysts and all this other silly shit.
Well, let me guess. It's a bunch of people who don't know what a whole bunch of these technical elements are, and they're trying to talk about it like they have the foggiest when they've been playing a glorified freaking
a lot of people who've been playing, like you and Fertanga said the same thing, who've been playing basically a jumped up tablet and don't know the first thing about really any of the tech being used in higher end consoles or PCs. He's like, these people have no idea what DLSS even is. He's like, they don't understand the frame rate issues. They don't understand the resolution issues. He's like, because 1080p gaming to these people is a new thing.
Yeah, they've been gaming on a tablet, and I'm glad he brought this up because this is a problem with the low expectations of Nintendo fans and why I called them non-critical fans, because they have been putting so little in expectations to this company that it's a freaking joke.
Yeah.
That you sit
a
there
really
going,
protracted joke. But,
are you serious? And then you get all these dips that go out there and defend this corporation. And you're like, dude, what the hell's wrong with you? Criticize them for not giving you the best product. But, hey, I've dealt with a number of fanboys over the years.
We've dealt with Games Workshop fans, so,
Yeah. Some of the worst things you could do in life is tell people that they should get something better. For some reason. This just activates people's Super Saiyan senses, and they got to fly into a rage. I do not understand it, but
don't go Ultra Instinct at my ass for telling you the fucking truth, jackass.
This is stupid as hell. This company's basically sold these people the beta version, and they're getting angry because they have room temperature IQs and think they can hang with people who are freaking Nintendo fanboys going, here's a super mild criticism. It has this issue. And you're like, really? What kind of kid gloves does a freaking corporation like this need? Like, don't go after my beloved mega corporation. It makes me sad.
So, getting off the Nintendo shit for for this
I don't
video.
want anywhere near that.
A brief word about dear Mr. Pitchford and
Oh no.
Gearbox again.
The master of slime.
Yeah, says Civvy has put it many times in different words.
The slime lord himself.
So Mr. Randy started getting called out by some people for being a legitimate grifter, not the word that the internet has actually turned it into. Because they're still pushing that whole thing that they're trying to claim they gave people a huge bargain by lowering the price of the basic edition of Borderlands 4 to $70 fucking dollars, which I'm sorry is still kind of pushing it from 80. But then the news came out because Mr. Pitchford and Gearbox just can't stop the shit, and 2K and Take-Two, of course, are all too happy to try to profit off their stupid shit. That they have this super special extra edition physical blah blah blah, comes with some statue of some fucking robot, some art print things, and I forget what else. The issue is what it doesn't come with. It's over $150 depending on where you get it. Yeah, well, I don't know about that one, but it comes with the digital code for the game in a $150 special edition, whereas the normal physical game still has the fucking disc in it. Somebody make that shit make sense. Randy.
No.
And frankly, that's all I'm even going to waste my time with on that one. It's fucking stupid. Everybody knows it's fucking stupid.
I just looked up Randy the Slime Lord.
Oh,
Why
God.
does he look like a freaking carnival barker right now? Come on, guys, get your snake oil. Fresh
Because the
and
dude's
hot.
having some kind of corporatist midlife crisis or something. He can't figure out how the fuck he's supposed to look.
Damn it, I need a personality. This is a personality, right? And it's like, no, Randy. No, it is not a personality.
This is the same asshole who was trying to sell magic tricks on stage during a game expo, okay? I don't know what you want from him.
He needs his help so bad.
So, moving on from that stupidity, we're going to move on to our other regular source of stupidity, Microsoft.
Oh, no.
So, you might remember a while ago, there was a lot of layoffs at Xbox division in Microsoft. And, of course, they've been going all in with this whole fucking Game Pass thing. It's such a great value. We have all this stuff on it. Don't look up how similar we are to Netflix.
Yeah, guys, don't look at history or the past.
So they put together this whole big spiel about value and all this other shit as the price slowly keeps raising for Game Pass, and things mysteriously occasionally vanish from Game Pass, again, a la Netflix, or, third-party companies that are allowed to put their stuff on Game Pass decide they want to start selling it for real, and then they're like, okay, so that's going to go off.
Nothing.
Yeah, this is going to go off Game Pass now, and we're going to go sell it the normal way because we're not making enough money after what we got paid initially. And so that vanishes off the service.
You're paying for an exclusive demo.
Yeah, after their big spiel about all that silly shit, they had all those layoffs. They're like, well, this is going to make, and I don't ask me to remember their representatives' fucking names because I can't be fucked. But the woman they had was like, well, this will see for the foreseeable future that we will be feasible in the long term. And now it turns out that unexpectedly, the Game Pass sales aren't meeting expectations. They're not growing fast enough. And so what's happening? More layoffs.
Game Pass is a really bad idea. I'm going to put it this way because it's a denial of the market, because it's assuming that people are infinite piggy banks that can simply be looted nonstop. And
in an era where even some of the millennials, and in particular Gen Z, are tired of subscription-based services, you are trying to force your entire gaming landscape at Xbox into a subscription model. And yes, you still have... I was saying, and yes, you still have the suckers who put it such a great value. I'm just going to get Game Pass, and then I can just download the game whenever I want, George. Yeah, until the motherfucker don't exist anymore. Have fun with that.
Until it's not on the Game Pass.
Yeah.
Just like Netflix. This is a stupid stupid thing. And now, first off, I want to express this. I'm sorry for most of the people who lost their job because the company's short-sighted and stupid.
This is not a
Um,
fault of the employees or the developers. This is the
Now,
damn company.
I'm sure plenty of them would hate my guts, and that's fine.
That's
Now, in
whatever.
reality, we'll come down to this.
Shut up, phone.
Phony had to get involved, damn it.
My God.
But the thing is really simple. There is no upside to this. This is trying to get people to not see themselves as owning the product, getting them to accept it, then paying in perpetuity till you corner the market and effectively can just keep increasing the price, increasing the price, increasing the price.
And then, frankly,
It's what happened with television. It's what happened with Netflix.
in their case, it's not going to work. They
But it's
may
what
keep
they're
the
trying
Xbox.
that's such a problem.
I know. They may keep the Xbox users on life support that way, but there's a pretty solid reason I believe that they're having to actually start offering their Xbox titles on PC and PlayStation.
I'm going to be a little bit more forceful on that. I don't believe there is. I believe that the ultimate plan
Well, it's greed. They
is
want
to
money.
mostly get out of public or the production of consoles.
Console market.
And that they plan on ultimately moving into Game Pass being their main offering. They want to be a service on multiple things.
But that's what I mean. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Like, there's a reason they're doing this. You know, it's
it's a really, really shitty thing that they're trying to do. And honestly, it's really disrespectful of their customers.
oh yeah, but
And
they
I
don't give a
was
shit
gonna
about their
even
customers.
say some nice things about their little handheld idea is a good idea in competition for Steam, but
But then you looked
this
more into it,
this is a stupid thing, and it's been a stupid thing for a while. You can only have so many services before people get to a point where they don't feel like they can handle anything. And then what happens is you're going to see a drastic decline in return to the point where you're going to effectively get no return at all. And this is what we're starting to see in the market overall. People have dozens of freaking accounts, dozens of things they can't remember, and services all wanting to charge them per month.
Yep.
Game Pass is not going to be something I think is long-term viable.
Especially when so many gamers don't want subscriptions. Like, a lot of gamers are either in our age bracket or younger, and they're having enough trouble with their day-to-day expenses.
Well, and you're also starting to see where with the comment that if owning isn't, or if buying isn't owning, I
Then
won't
why
continue
buy?
the statement.
Yeah,
You're getting into a situation where people are like, well, screw it, why should I pay for it?
exactly.
And
And
that,
Xbox and Nintendo, and Sony has got their share of problems. Right now, Xbox and Nintendo are like the paramount offenders on this because, PC gamers kind of fucked that horse long ago.
they abandoned it and then shot it and then ate it and then turned what was left into glue. Thanks, guys. But don't make me defend Sony.
Yeah, it's bad
Like,
when I feel the need to go, well, Sony isn't doing this yet, and even in the occasions
yet.
they've done it, it hasn't been as egregious or unfucking voidable. You would be
You're
like, oh, I'm
giving
not gonna buy that, fuck it.
you guys are giving Sony a freaking like covers. Like, please
Yeah.
stop. But this is going to, I think, is going to cause a. It's going to contribute to a greater crash in gaming as the prices
Yeah.
rise, as it becomes a air quote more expensive hobby, and you start seeing people check out of it, where it goes from something that's fairly ubiquitous to where fewer and fewer people
Like,
indulge in it, or at
buying a
least
new game, AAA companies, I'm talking to you, should not cost the same as putting a down payment on a fucking gun.
at least we haven't got to the point of it being a house down payment, right?
Sure.
I mean, we can kind
Even
of
though
go
there's been
with
rumors
that.
circulating that somebody was wanting to try to pitch the next Xbox at $1,000 fucking.
Whoa!
Rumors right now. I don't know if anybody's actually that stupid yet.
Why would they pitch the next Xbox? They haven't made
when
a
they're
return on
trying
the
to,
first one.
probably because they want to try to push another all digital console. That would be my
Oh.
guess.
And
I
have
don't
it
have
fail as
confirmation.
bad?
I don't have confirmation on that. That's purely rumors. But I think that's enough for today. This shit is just, it's not getting better. It's not going to get better. Like I've said before, you know, you have choices, you have options. Vote and buy with your own fucking wallet and your own judgment. Buy AA games. Get the console that works the best for you. Get a PC. You know, I'm not a fucking huge PC Master Race proponent. Like I've said before, there's plenty of problems I have with that. But just get whatever works for you and stop fighting with each other over this stupid shit.
Yeah, we need to actually consider ourselves as a market as opposed to mortal enemies. So that would be
Seriously.
nice. The other thing is, I'm going to suggest this: wait a month. Wait for
Fuck
sell.
yeah,
Wait for sell.
sometimes wait a year. There's no rush. I mean, yeah, if you got a big YouTube channel or some shit, or you're a streamer, you probably want to get on stuff, but fuck, a little restraint even there might
I
be more
guarantee
beneficial.
most of you are not Asmongold.
Like if you look at guys like Mutahar or fucking 8-Bit Eric, who did all this time spent going, hey, this console's fucked up, it's this and that. And then what do? You went and you bought one, and everybody knows it. And now
You
you've
made
lost
me sad,
credibility.
Mudahar.
It's
You
like, for
made me
fuck's
sad.
sake, guys, a little restraint. But
To
that's it
quote an
for us
old
today.
movie, you broke my heart.
Oh. Have a great day, guys. We'll see you in the next one. Later.